So this is a very hard story to tell, and these characters are incredibly hard to play. For you guys, when you read the script, how disturbing were these alleged sexual abuse allegations to you?
It's awful. It's absolutely horrendous. And it's just such a tragedy all around. The whole story is so tragic. And I think it still goes on. You know, these people are still in prison. And so it's just, it's horrendous, and it affects you. It's deep. Yeah.
I can only imagine. You actually just visited the brothers in prison with Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, I know.
So
iconic.
I mean, what was the experience like?
It was absolutely incredible. We went down for this meeting about this green space project that Lyle and Erik are spearheading, and they've been working on it for a while, and they were going to present it to us. And the first person I saw when I walked into this gymnasium was him. We like made eye contact, and then we just gave each other a big hug. And they're very light. They're filled with light, and they have a sense of humor, and they're so kind and such normal, stand up individuals. And I told him that I believe him and I support him, and I did everything I could to portray him as authentically as possible.
This is Erik.
Yeah. I met both of them. And
both of them, okay.
Yeah, and of course I talked to Erik, and I told him that.
Erik had released a statement saying that this series was a dishonest portrayal, but he hadn't seen it yet. Yeah. Did he step back from any of those comments?
No, he stood by them, and I understand where he's coming from. It's so difficult to have something like this happen, where Hollywood and is retelling this story in a dramatized fashion. It's so incredibly difficult. So I totally understand where he's coming from, and I respect that he has to make a statement like that.
Yeah. The family released a statement this morning. I don't know if you guys saw it. Okay. So assuming they did see the series, what is your reaction to the family's statement?
I think it's just sort of the same response, It's like these are people that they know so well, and they're so close to them. And, I would just encourage to remind people that this is a dramatized retelling of their story, and there are parts of it that we're showing perspectives from different people, like, for example, like Dominic Dunn, or even the parents' perspective. Like, we're showing all of these points of view to ultimately have the audience act as a jury. And so I would encourage people to really just look at the story from different contexts, and but at the same time, I support everything that they're saying, and I understand how difficult it would be. Netflix is also releasing a documentary next week. Yeah. So I think that's really where people need to look more for the facts, or just to watch the trial and really watch that, because that's all the facts, and that the truth is all in there.
Yeah. Nicholas, you do such a great job of building the bond between these two characters. How did you approach that?
Well, I think that one of the aspects of this project that was kind of serendipitous was the fact that Cooper and I got to have a dynamic that sort of mirrored the brothers, in that we were the only people in the entire world who knew what the other person was going through. We had been cast in this project and tasked with this enormous responsibility. And sometimes it feels like you're carrying the weight of the world when you're working on such a large scale project. And I think that the brothers also had this. They were the only two people in the world who knew what the other person was going through. So the fact that we could find common ground in our relationship with the brothers' relationship in that way, I think it helped. And Cooper and I's relationship blossomed really organically, and I love this guy to death. Are you kidding me? I mean, what a talented actor. And yeah.
You're both incredible. 12.4 million people viewed this in just 4 days. I imagine, as the actors, is there a prayer, is there a hope that people experiencing sexual abuse right now or have previously are going to seek help and healing?
I really hope so. I think that was definitely something that I thought about every day while I was shooting this, and I hope they feel seen, I hope they feel heard, and I hope they can learn that when you are vulnerable and you open up and you do reach out and talk to somebody, that gives you strength, and it will help you heal and move through your trauma. And I hope that people feel like they can do that after this.
Fact versus fiction. A lot of people are talking about what was true, what was not to the actual story. How much of this was fictionalized for you guys?
What I can tell you is that this was a heavily researched show. The creators of the show researched it for over 3 years, and it comes from a very, very informed perspective and assimilates a lot of different information from many different accounts.
I mean, there's a thing right here.
That's
everyone thought at the time that these 2 kids murdered their parents for money.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people now know that that's not true.
Yeah.
And so there are things in the show that from somebody else's perspective was what they believed. That was their theory, but maybe wasn't true. I think the show just collects all of these different theories and points of view and perspectives and then shoves them all together.
I also think it's important to distinguish that we're painting a portrait.
Yes.
We're not creating a documentary.
Yeah. Do you guys think that this will change the public's outlook on if the brothers should get released or not?
I think so. And I think the public has already changed. You know, in the past 35 years, so much has shifted in terms of how people really stand by victims and believe them when they come out and talk about it. And look, also, I want to say too, I don't want to discredit the fact that these kids did murder their parents with shotguns and like they did need to serve time. Yeah. But I think the time is up. They've served their time.
Did you guys expect this controversy?
Yes.
You did.
It's a super controversial story.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
And finally, Colin Farrell recently said that he went home and watched Finding Nemo to escape a dark character he was playing. So for you guys, what did you do after a day of filming to just kind of, come back to yourself?
I leaned on my loved ones. I called my family, and whenever I was in a particularly dark place, I just asked for their love and support.